can turn the world on with a smile. You can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's your girl and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, don't need to fake it. You can never down, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Jodie Emery Show. It's August 4th, Thursday, and I have a lot of great stuff to share with you. First, I want to show you some photos that came from Marc in prison. We got 10 of them taken on July 4th, and on each picture he wrote something on the back. A great photo, 5 wonderful years, July 23rd, 2006 to July 23rd, 2011. This is a wonderful photo, cuddling up with Mrs. Emery. An excellent photo. The red dress was a great choice. Very nice up close. I look good in this one, he says, and he does. He actually does look pretty good, getting lots of sun. And he says, yay, such great photos. Happy anniversary, sweetheart. You look great in this one, a favorite. And then very cool photo. I love my girl. 5 fabulous years of marriage to my Mrs. Emery. And then a beautiful 4th of July visit after my great concert, because he had done his prison concert earlier that day, and he said it was just amazing. He was so excited. Or sorry, he had done it earlier that weekend. It wasn't that day. Then this one is I love my wonderful Jodie. And then put your head on my shoulders, because we're trying to figure out what kind of poses to do here after about 10 pictures. It's quite a lot not a lot you can do besides just hugging each other. A happy 5th anniversary, good concert kiss from my sweetheart. And that one was the last one there. So I don't even know if you're supposed to kiss in photos, but we got it. So that got through, and it's adorable. So I was really happy to receive these. They came as a late anniversary gift, even though they were taken on July 4th. But Marc had an actual gift sent to me from the prison leatherworking studios. This is a purse made out of leather, and it's just mind-blowing. And it's incredible that prisoners actually get to do things like this. I'm sure it's excellent for their rehabilitation, for them to get new skills, to pass the time, to focus on something and achieve something beautiful. So they offer programs like leatherworking and welding and different, I think woodworking too, and painting and music. And as you all know, Marc has been doing lots of band practice with the bass guitar. But this says Jodie and Marc, 5 years, 7/23/11. And it's got pockets and everything inside, and even a little matching wallet. So this is just mind-blowing, especially compared to earlier videos you've seen of the purses that were sent from D. Ray James, the private prison, where they made those out of garbage, out of chip bags and chocolate bar wrappers. So in previous videos you can see that the different types of things they were able to make in private prisons where no money is spent on inmates. But thankfully, in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, they do provide programs and things to keep inmates busy and to keep them developing. So this is a beautiful gift from my beloved husband, and I was happy to share it all with you. I visited Marc this last weekend, and he has a recent blog posted at freemarc.ca and cannabisculture.com. But this weekend was quite upsetting for him, because his band, prison band called Stuck, actually got disbanded. 2 of the members actually got sent to solitary confinement. They didn't really do anything bad. They didn't hurt anybody, but they broke some rules and are put into the hole. So Marc doesn't know how long they'll be there, but his best friend, basically, Grizz, was the guy teaching Marc bass guitar and who was in his band. And now that he's gone, Marc's whole routine is lost. He spent many hours every day playing bass guitar with Grizz, and now Grizz is gone, and now that the band is broken up, they don't actually get any studio time. So now Marc doesn't even get to play in the studio with any other people. He just practices on his own, but he's having a hard time with that because he was being taught everything. So that was pretty upsetting for him, and he's been feeling pretty down about that. And as always, if you'd like to lift up his spirits, please send him a letter or order some books online that he might enjoy reading, or subscribe him to a magazine. He said he got a very interesting magazine called, I think, Backwoods Country or something, and it's about how to basically just survive without the government, I guess. It's some sort of survivalist magazine, but he said it's just fascinating, all the information about growing your own vegetables and how to just take care of yourself in the wilderness or just without relying on anyone. So he's surprised by the wonderful types of letters and magazines and things that he receives. So go to freemarc.ca for the mailing address and send him something to cheer up his day. Send him some photos or news, but especially send him a letter telling him what you're doing to stay active. He really, really loves that. But of course, read his blogs and find out more at cannabisculture.com and freemarc.ca. Now, I recently uploaded a video to my YouTube account, Jodie Emery, on youtube.com/Jodie Emery. It's only 45 seconds long, but it's me meeting the former prosecutor of Marc, John McKay, in Washington. Earlier this year in March, I was invited to testify at the legislature, and we have video of that on Pot TV, so you can find those. But I was testifying alongside 8 other people, and on that panel saying we need to legalize it was none other than John McKay, the former prosecutor who started the charges in the case against Marc, Michelle, and Greg. So it was a bit of an interesting situation. If you go to my video at youtube.com/Jodie Emery, you can watch the video. There's a transcript underneath of what was said because there's no actual audio. It was done kind of clandestinely inside the room there, but you can read what I said to him and what he said. And you can also go to a news story about all the video and coverage of that day in the Washington legislature. And you can read an article about how John McKay is, at this moment, backing a bill for legalization in Washington state. So good for you, John McKay, changing sides, realizing you had done very, very wrong things to a lot of people, and joining the side of truth and goodness and justice, and that's the side of ending prohibition. So even though my husband is in prison, and that started with your work, I know it wasn't personal, and that's what I said in the video, and I know he was doing his job, just like a lot of other cops and law enforcement are just doing their jobs, but I'll only welcome that type of law enforcement when they do join our side. So John McKay, thank you for doing that, and all of the representatives in law enforcement who joined the side to end prohibition, I welcome you to the good side, and thank you for turning against our enemies. A big event coming up where you can meet me and Jeremiah Vandermeer is at Seattle Hemp Fest. That's coming up quick. It's this month on August 19th to 21st. I'll be speaking there. I don't know what day yet. They haven't finalized the schedule, but you'll be able to hear me speak on stage or come up and say hi, shake my hand, let me know what you're doing to help end prohibition. I'd be very happy to meet everybody, and I'm excited to be with all the Seattle people again because throughout this entire ordeal, our allies in Washington and in Seattle have been wonderful, wonderful to us in their rallies and support. So thank you all very much for that. I'm excited to come down, and it's an honor to speak again. So check out hempfest.org and look up Seattle Hemp Fest and see what's happening over 3 amazing days in the biggest marijuana event on earth. I wanted to share with you a little analogy that I got from a friend. Catherine Leach in Rhode Island is an amazing activist. She and I were both just emailing recently because she took a little bit of a break from the internet and from activism. Not completely, but just, you know, once in a while, I think we all suffer from drug war depression. You know, I just went through it myself. It's very hard to see people going to prison. It's very hard to see the laws get worse up here in Canada. It's hard to deal with the prison expansion that's happening everywhere. A lot of things are really depressing, and it can get very heavy and hard to cope with. So once in a while, we all need to just take a break. And here's the analogy. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. It's really easy. Glass of water, you can hold a glass of water. But after about an hour, you get a little tired, and then a little later, your arm starts to tremble, and then suddenly after quite a while of holding that glass of water, you just can't hold it anymore, and you just let it go and it drops. But instead of letting it drop, you just have to take a break once in a while, put down the glass of water, shake out your arm, and then pick it up again. And I was telling this analogy to our friend Kirk Tucson. He said, you know, winning victories is like tasting a refreshing taste of that cool water too, and holding on to it, and you get to take a sip whenever you have a victory, but you keep holding on because you can't put it down. So I don't know, that kind of hit me, and I realized, yes, I do suffer from drug war depression. A lot of us do. But I just put down the glass for a while, took time for me, take a weekend or even just a day off. Don't read the newspapers, don't read depressing news, and you'll be able to feel a lot better when you pick up that glass of water again. And hopefully after we're all holding it for a long time, we'll be able to do cheers and gulp down our victory, and it'll be awesome. So I want to thank you all for staying active, for staying up to date with me and Marc and everything that's going on here in Canada, in Vancouver, even all across the world. A lot is happening in our movement, and we are not going to give up. We're happy warriors. We may have casualties. It is a drug war. It's not a drug peace. We have to keep standing strong with all of our friends and everything that will come. And if you want to stay up to date with me and Marc, I'm always tweeting. If you want to see what I'm always reading and talking about, it's not just marijuana policy. I have a lot to say and share. And if you go to twitter.com/Jodie Emery and follow me, you'll see all sorts of news stories and little tidbits of how I'm feeling and what's going on. You can also follow Marc Scott Emery at twitter.com. Facebook, I always upload status updates and photos and videos. Facebook.com/Jodie Emery. Facebook.com/Marc Emery. And for Marc's fan page, because we're both at the friend limit, go to Facebook.com/Prince of Pot, and you'll be able to join over 44,000 other people staying up to date with Marc and seeing what they can do to help. Definitely go to freemark.ca, cannabisculture.com, pot.tv or www.pot-tv.net for our live videos almost every Friday. Jeremiah's gone at Shambhala, so he won't be with Cannabis Culture News today or tomorrow, but you can definitely check out all sorts of old videos and new videos at pot.tv. And if you're in Canada, to stay active and help us out, go to whyprohibition.ca. Excellent activism resources. Stay involved, stay up to date, keep fighting, don't give up, and help me bring back my husband safe and sound. So send him a letter, and free Marc Emery. Twitter.com/Jodie Emery and follow me. You'll see all sorts of news stories and little tidbits of how I'm feeling and what's going on. You can also follow Marc Scott Emery at twitter.com. Facebook, I always upload status updates and photos and videos to interact with people. Facebook.com/Jodie Emery. Facebook.com/Marc Emery. And for Marc's fan page, because we're both at the friend limit, go to Facebook.com/Prince of Pot. And